Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be talking to you guys today about the moon, one of my favorite topics. I love lunar magic, I love lunar witchcraft. So this month I am going to be discussing each of the different phases of the moon and how to connect with them. It's kind of like a beginner's guide to working with the different phases of the moon. So every Friday we will be chatting about this in the month of April. If you guys are interested in this topic, I did do a longer form version of this, like a whole month of lunar magic last year during my Year of the Witch project. If you guys haven't checked that out, I have 366 videos all about like pertaining to witchcraft and the things within witchcraft, so definitely check them out. And if you are interested, again, I did a whole month of lunar videos. If you guys are interested in me doing that kind of like again, I would be super down to do that. Maybe not like every single day in the month, but like focusing a whole month on lunar magic. So like, just let me know. I'm happy to like take requests. I got actually a lot of responses back on Instagram about some like really cool topics, because I was like, oh, just like putting out feelers, like what do you guys want me to talk about? So I'll be definitely incorporating those ideas into the videos that I have planned for like the next couple months ahead. So thank you guys for that. So today I really want to bring our attention to the first quarter moon phase. So at the time of filming last week, we experienced the new moon in Aries, we planted some intentions, we talked about kind of what that means for us as witches. So if you are curious about that, you can check out my video from last week. And we really just kind of like ignited our inner fires and about what makes us the most passionate, right? So that's kind of what that moon was about. And all throughout the week, as you may or may not have noticed, if you haven't, definitely try to take a look at the skies tonight. We've watched the moon grow from kind of this dark, we couldn't see it actually, the dark moon, into this tiny little sliver, and now throughout the month throughout the week as it has waxed, it is this beautiful little half circle. So we are at the first quarter phase. This process of growth is called the waxing moon, and I know that is totally high school, but if you haven't really like put much thought into like space or the celestial bodies, you might want to just brush up on some terminology. I personally I have been watching Carl Sagan's Cosmos, and not only has it given me like a lot of tattoo ideas, it's actually like very interesting and educational. So definitely check it out. I have found a like wealth of information I was not privy to before, so having fun with that. Anyways, as the moon waxes and grows in light, metaphysically, so too does our energy. It is a great time to work with the energies that spur you towards working on the intention that you set during the new moon. Now, I feel like sometimes this gets lost in translation when it comes to talking about manifestation. But one of the most important things that you should do when you are in like setting your intention or trying to manifest anything for your life is also remember to do the mundane work that goes in hand with that manifestation. So my favorite example of this is like, I can light as many yellow candles as I want and sit in my bedroom like hoping for friends and just like manifesting friendship in this like big friend group. But I'm not like going out and like trying to be friendly to people, if I'm just generally like rude and like push people away, that's just not going to manifest for me. Like, a spell is there to help you attain these things, but it will not do all of the legwork for you. So this waxing phase of the moon is really there to kind of energize us and putting our steps towards, breaking free of any cycles that we might be caught in or inviting certain energies into our life. So in those days between the new moon and the first quarter moon, when the moon is starting to illuminate, we're seeing that waxing crescent. You can focus on workings that are associated with new beginnings, maybe with sparking creativity, cultivating a certain energy within your home or within your practice. It's a really great time to start launching new projects or start solidifying any habits that you're trying to get into the rhythm of. So truly, like right now is when you should start getting all of your ducks in a row and making those changes. Now let's talk about how other ways we can engage with the energy of this moon. The number one thing that I would like to recommend is, again, fire magic. And I know we talked about that with the new moon in Aries because it's a fire sign. However, the reason that I recommend fire magic for this one is because of that creative and expansive energy of the element of fire. So when you are engaging with this this like vibrant, almost like living element, it just brings in, to me especially, just so much like creativity, so much power, so much potential for your spell, whatever you might be working on. So I really like to use fire magic during the waxing portion of the moon, so anytime between the new moon and the full moon. I use more of like the water and earth element definitely between the full moon and the new moon. Air and fire during the waxing phase and earth and water during the waning phase, that is a personal choice. You can use the elements as you wish. However, those are the ones that I tend to focus on during the two like main portions of our lunar cycle. Feel free to do as you will. Moving right along, you might be interested in creating an altar, and if you're not really sure where to start, I recommend actually making kind of an altar or a shrine that would line up with whatever specific intention you made during the new moon, if that's something that you're interested in getting started with. So, for example, if you are doing a self-care working, if you are really focused on improving your self-care, being more consistent with it maybe. I have I keep looking over there, I'm sorry. I have a self-care altar in my bedroom. And I have a video on that as well if you guys are interested in seeing it. But I would recommend kind of cultivating a space for yourself, if that is possible, where you can put your working, if it's like a candle spell or a spell jar specifically. I recommend curating a space that is kind of associated with whatever that intention might be. So for me, for my self-care altar, I would have maybe like the spell jar that I did on the new moon, perhaps, let's say, and surround it with like rose quartz and rhodochrosite and blue lace agate and howlite and amethyst. If you're working with a deity that is helping you with this self-care practice, maybe having an image of them on that altar, having certain herbs or things that you use in your self-care practice. I've seen witches who put like CBD oil, like they keep it on their little altars and stuff for whenever they're having like a particularly rough day. So if you're interested in starting to build altars but like aren't really sure where to go, maybe consider building one that is centered around your specific intention and what you are currently working on for that month. I find that when I see and like when things are kind of in front of my face, I am more apt to engage with them and to work towards them. So not only is it kind of a way to exalt and like elevate your practice if that's something you're looking to do, but it's also a way to kind of keep yourself accountable, because it's like, oh yeah, that's right, like I need to prioritize my self-care whenever I see my self-care altar, which is why it's in my bedroom near my bed. Next, I recommend that you focus on any workings that are specifically either pulling things into you or pushing things out in a very energetic way. So the waxing phase of the moon is a very energetic time in the lunar cycle. This is the time when we are probably going to be the most active, when our energy is at its highest, or gaining, I should say. We'll talk a little bit more about all of the, expansion and manifestation with the full moon next week, so stay tuned for that. But any workings such as like prosperity bowls or anything that you are kind of manifesting into the universe, doing spell work that corresponds with that is incredibly good to do at this point in time, just because of how much energy is growing. So if you are doing kind of a working that's going to take a couple days, and you would like for it to steadily become more powerful, you are steadily inviting in more of a specific energy, recommend doing it during the waxing phase of the moon. The first quarter moon also gives us one of two opportunities throughout the lunar cycle to seek balance in our practice within ourselves, right? So we have kind of like half illuminated, half dark. We can really see that natural balance that the moon has at this time, right? I find that when we are setting our intentions with the new moon, perhaps maybe we had all these grandiose ideas, and as we worked on it throughout the week, kind of realized how hard maybe some of this stuff was and need to reprioritize certain aspects of our life. The first quarter moon is a great time for this. It kind of gives us a little bit of time to pause, reflect, learn our lessons, and then use those to inform our actions moving forward towards the full moon in order to make these workings, these spells, this setting of intention to manifest to its greatest capacity during the full moon. Yeah, the first quarter moon is a great time to just have a touch point to check in with yourself before you continue your work to make sure it is just super successful. And it's also a really good time to breathe and maybe like just take a break for a second before continuing on all of that amazing work that you're doing. This is also a great time for participating in mindful movement, whether that is dancing, singing, just moving your body, connecting with nature, and just really soaking up that energy, maybe spending some time with the sun, because the sun also really brings in that creative fire, that creative passion that is so associated with the waxing phase of the moon. So this is really just a great time to be checking things off your to-do list. Now, before I leave you today, I just wanted to give you some herbal and crystal recommendations, just because I know you guys like that, and this might help you with creating an altar, maybe creating an altar specifically for like this phase of the moon, if that is something that calls to you, you absolutely don't have to. You can do whatever you want. So for the intention of strength and action moving forward, I recommend mugwort, St. John's wort, bay, mulberry, and thistle. For success, lemon balm, cinnamon, clover, and ginger. For manifestation, again, dandelion, or wish granting, I should say, dandelion, bay, hazel, and sage. For courage, I recommend borage, columbine, mullein, thyme, and yarrow. And as for crystals that I work with the most during kind of the waxing phase of the moon, I recommend citrine, carnelian, rose quartz, tiger's eye, sunstone, jasper, and apatite. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. If you would like me to go a little bit more in depth and do kind of a more month-long course on the lunar phase or working with moon magic, I am happy to talk about it. It's kind of become a cornerstone of my practice, so it's like very easy for me to talk about at length. So hopefully you guys are working towards your goals. I know you guys can do it. I am here in full support of you, and thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you guys next week. Bye.